First on the agenda is I need to approve the minutes from last month's meeting.
John Stroh, I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of last month's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Strauss, seconded by Mr. McDevitt. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? Right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. We'll go on to the action agenda, and the first thing is Mr. Jeff Mead is here to make an annual presentation by the Adirondack Civic Center Coalition, Inc. regarding the capital projects completed or anticipated to start as per the language included in contract authorized by resolution number 393 of 2019. So, Mr. Mead?
Oh, thank you. Hopefully y'all can hear me. And thank you for letting us go first. Liz Mahoney, who's on the call as well, and I have an ECHL meeting at 11, which will take up the rest of our day. You all hopefully all have the report that I sent over a few weeks ago as to what we've done so far with the county money. It totals just north of $22,000. Quickly, I can absolutely go through these if you want in more depth. We bought an engine for our TecoGen, which is the machine that keeps the ice frozen. We repaired a motor for the TecoGen. We replaced a motor on the cooling tower, replaced a refrigeration pump, and we got a new motor for our air handling units. Labor for the motor, and we put in $2,500 in the locker room number 4 pipe removal, and we're actually currently trying to finish locker room number 4 with other monies. When we got that couple $1 million from New York State a few years ago, we renovated all of our locker rooms downstairs except one when we ran out of that grant money. So this is a continuation of that. So we spent $22,455 to date. We've got a proposal to put in a new hot water heater in the building. I put $65,000 in there. We've gotten one quote so far. We're waiting on another one. The first quote is north of the $65,000, so we're hoping to get a little better quote on the next one. And then we'll spend another $25,000 in 2020, either on an air handling unit, variable speed drives, or a main loop pump. And whichever one we don't do in 2020, we plan on doing early in 2021. We had expected to be done spending all this money by now, and quite honestly, it's been difficult to get companies to give us proposals and get work done. I think that's simply due to the pandemic's kind of slowed everybody down, or maybe it sped them up and slowed us down. But we'll have these last 2 pieces done in the calendar year 2020 per our agreement. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Happy to answer any questions, and I think Liz may want to have a few words at the end as well on our presentation.
Any questions? Mr. McDevitt?
Yeah. Jeff, welcome. Thank you for your presentation. Just had a quick question, not being a terribly mechanical guy, but
Me neither.
a hot water heater at approximately $65,000. Number one, what does the hot water heater do at the Civic Center? And I guess we would hope we could do a little better than that. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, truly, it does the same thing it does at your house, except it has to go so many different places in the building. Certainly, it gives hot water to all our food and beverage areas, to all of our locker room for showers, for the Thunder area for showers, for the Zamboni for hot water. And yeah, initially we thought it'd be about $60,000. Our initial quote was for a different system was $115,000. So obviously, we said, this can't happen. We didn't have the money to do that. So it's right now we have a quote around $70,000 for a hot water heater. In our engine room, it's tight. It has to all be repiped and vented outside. So that's where you go from, where you expect to be a $15,000 to $20,000 number to a $65,000 to $75,000 number. So it's old. I think from the year 2000 when the city last upgraded that part of the building. So it needs to be done. We've been putting money into it for 3 or 4 years. It's for the, the saying goes, it's duct taped together right now. And if we lose hot water, obviously, when we're able to open up again, you can't do food and beverage without hot water for sanitation, of course. But we need hot water for ice and many other applications. So, yeah, it's a lot more money than I ever thought I'd spend on a hot water heater, but unfortunately, we're going to have to do it.
Yeah, the question is really due to lack of knowledge on my part. I'm kind of relating to
Yeah, no, I was shocked too I was shocked when I saw a number for $115,000, and so, but even the $70,000 number is not all that appetizing.
Thank you very much for that answer. I appreciate it.
Any other questions? Mr. McGowan?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. Yeah, just to help Peter and others that might not know, one, this is a commercial water heater, so it's not your average house water heater, all right? Plus, nowadays, with all the functions and the added and the direct vents and it, but it also comes, this also includes a circulatory system where the water's constantly flowing, the warm water's constantly flowing around the building. Otherwise, that you have the hot water tank on one side of the building, and someone turns on the sink in concession stand number 1, and it takes 20 minutes for the hot water to get there. So it seems like a lot of money. It's not as bad as the bathroom as the airport, but but yeah. Thank you.
Brad, thank you very much. I know there was a very good reason you're on this board.
All right, anyone else with any questions?
Madam Chair.
Michael Wild.
Yes, Mr. Wild?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jeff, Mike Wild, I just recently became aware that there's heat pump water heaters that you can get credits from NYSERDA. Now, this may be just for residential, but is there anything like that you might be able to get grants because of the energy saving opportunities that something like that might present?
Yeah, there is, but there's currently not much for this application. I think we'll get about $1,300 back from National Grid on this. So whenever we do a project, we do talk to National Grid, or in the past we've used NYSERDA when we upgraded the lights for the arena. So we always look into that, Michael. We actually are doing a lighting project with different monies, and basically it's about an $8,000 project. And we're only paying $4,000 due to all the rebates. So anytime we do a capital improvement, we look into see if there's rebates out there.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Madam
All
Chair.
right, anyone else with any questions? All right, Jeff, did you say there was someone else who might want to speak for a minute or two?
Yeah, Liz Mahoney, who's on the board, is also our attorney, wants to speak, and I just want to say happy birthday to Bennett Driscoll. I think he's on this somewhere. So Sean works for us. So
Okay.
go ahead, Liz.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to say that pursuant to the terms of the agreement, we have an obligation to give a verified audit of our disbursements in January of the following year. So we plan to do that. And as always, if there's questions, if there's different formats, we'll probably present that as well, Jeff, I would imagine. But as things come up, please don't hesitate to let us know so that we can make sure that we're making sense of what we're doing and in compliance with the terms of the agreement. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz. Anything else, Jeff?
No, not unless anybody else has a question for me or Liz.
All right. Anyone with any other questions? All right, if not, then thank you, Liz and Jeff, for coming. We appreciate that. And you may now go to your next meeting.
Thank you. Have a good
you.
day. Talk soon.
Okay, we'll move on. First of all, I do want to tell you the amount of money that's in the contingent fund. It's $120,253.34. Tammy gives this to me every month, and I don't bring it forward. I never have anybody say how much is in the contingency fund, so I never think about just putting it out there, but that is what we have left now in that fund. All right, now we'll move on to then the request for transfers of funds as attached for our approval. So would someone like to make that motion to approve those transfers? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor McGowan. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Excuse me. Oh, he sneaks in here.
Sorry. You're right.
Okay, I need a,
Here in spirit.
okay, I need a second to that motion. Supervisor McDevitt. All right, let's do this again. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, request from the county treasurer. A request to fill the vacant position of senior account clerk number 4, grade 7, base annual salary $33,600 due to promotion. Mike, is there anything? There you are. Okay. Go ahead.
Just to give you a brief overview, our principal account clerk retired last year. We had somebody in the office that was temporarily filling in that position, and we had our part-time clerk moved up into the senior clerk. While we've been waiting since February for the test results to come back from civil service state, they finally came back. So basically what we're doing is we're finally permanently filled the principal account clerk position. And now I want to fill the senior account clerk with the person who was my temporary part-time clerk. And we're not at this point going to attempt to fill that part-time clerk position. So basically it's an overall net for about a savings of about right now about $18,000 to $20,000.
All right, would someone like to make a motion to bring that to the floor? Supervisor? Mr. Stroud, is that you?
Yes, that was me.
Okay, thank you. So he seconds the motion. Any discussion? Right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Mike, back to you. Anything else?
Nope, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, on to referral from the County Facilities Committee, Buildings and Grounds. Request to authorize the appropriation of $100,000 from Budget Code A 871.00 Reserve Rehab County Buildings to Budget Code A 1624.413 Human and Human Services Buildings Repair and Maintenance Building Property to fund the purchase of a generator for the Human Services Building. Someone would like to bring that motion to the floor.
I'll make that motion to bring to the floor. John Stroud.
Thank you, John, and second by Supervisor Simpson. Any discussion on that?
Is this a replacement generator? Does anyone know?
Wasn't
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
is Kevin here?
How old is the generator that's being replaced?
Good morning, everyone. The generator that's out there now is the one that was brought over from the Human Services Building that used to be over on Gurney Lane. I would say probably now it's somewhere in the vicinity of probably 20 years old. That generator is going to be transferred to Countryside to replace their generator up there, which is much older. And then we will purchase the new one that will run everything at the Human Services Building.
But you really answered my question. I was kind of going under the assumption that it was an original generator with the original building, and that is not the case. So thank you for answering my question.
All right, Supervisor Brayward, did you have a question or was yours answered?
I wanted to know what the total cost was.
Mr. Hajo?
The total cost of the generator? Yeah, it's somewhere about $96,000. We're getting it off an OGS contract for hazardous incident response equipment. And with the transfer switch and the generator itself, it's about $96,000 and change.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions?
yeah, I do.
Yes, Mr. Stroud?
Yeah, Kevin, I can remember being on the facilities committee, and we discussed this some time ago, in that the current generator on the Human Services Building is not sufficient to run that building the way it needs to be run, especially considering what's there.
That is correct. The existing generator there, while it's 275 kilowatts, while we believe that, if certain things weren't on, we probably could run most everything in the building. But the fact of the matter is, right now it only runs anything for emergencies, which would be the elevator, lighting. Basically, what ends up happening is if we lose power over there, and no one's going to be able to work on their computers, and it's happened. So this new generator that we'll be putting in over there will power the entire building. That if we lose power, that computers will not shut down. People will still be able to work on their desktops, so on and so forth. It'll keep basically everything going in the Human Services Building.
Thanks.
Mr. McGowan?
Yes, Kevin, who's installing that? Is that $100,000 all with installation too?
There will be, there's no installation as part of the bid with OGS. That's just for equipment and equipment only. And most, if not all of the work will be done by our in-house staff.
All right, thank you.
Unless you want to do it, Brad.
Okay, got it.
Bono.
Oh, we just wouldn't pay you. All right, any other questions?
Yeah, I have one, Madam Chairman.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Beatty?
Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Kevin, what are we gonna do with the old generator again?
The old generator is going to be brought up to Countryside and used to replace their generator that is an antique. This generator is more than enough to power their facility. In fact, it's probably almost too big, but there's no sense of letting it go to waste. The one that they have there is small. So this will go up to Countryside. They will need a new transfer switch up there for this generator that we're going to put up there from the Human Services building, but I believe they have about $38,000 in a reserve to cover the cost of the transfer switch. But I don't believe it'll be that much, but they have about $38,000 in a reserve to be able to cover the cost of that transfer switch.
Okay, that's a good move of resources. Thanks.
Any other questions? All right, then we'll call the question on this. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to number 5, referral from the Economic Growth and Development and Higher Education Committee, Planning and Community Development. Request to increase capital project number H372, First Wilderness Plan implementation, 2016, in the amount of $10,000 to move matching funds into the capital project. Someone would like to make a motion on that. Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Molino. Any discussion? Supervisor Bramer.
Thank you. What is this being used for? What capital project? Am I missing something?
Mr. Moore, do you remember what that project was? I remember the discussion, but
Wayne is still on the,
is Wayne there?
he is.
Yes, I am.
Wayne, could you help us out with this, please?
The $10,000 comes from the 8029 account that's in our department budget that is used every year for the First Wilderness Program. These specific funds will be used to update all the information signs in the kiosks along the corridor. As you may recall, the county, through a grant program, contracted with Advocate to update the signage. We have the materials, the graphics, but we need to create the signage that goes into those into those kiosks. So that's what we're moving the money over to the capital fund, rather than just purchase it directly out of the 8029. If we did it out of the 8029 county budget, then we can't count it as match to the grant. So that's why we move it into the capital fund, then do the expenditure.
Thank you for that explanation. All right, we had a motion and a second, correct, Amanda? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Carried. All right, we'll move on to referrals from the Public Safety Committee to the Sheriff's Office. A, request to amend the county budget in the total amount of $169,000 to reflect the appropriation of revenues and expenses for the second half of the school resource officer contracts with various school districts. Someone like to make that motion, Supervisor?
I'll make that motion.
All right, Mr. Simpson made the motion. Mr. Beatty will have you second the motion, if that's all right.
That's fine.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. B, request to amend the county budget in the amount of $10,826.40 to reflect the transfer of remaining fiscal year 2018 state law enforcement terrorism prevention program funds for the 2020 budget. Supervisor Simpson made the motion, seconded by
I'll second.
Supervisor McDevitt. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Okay, then we'll move on to request to amend the county budget in the amount of $19,093 to reflect the receipt of fiscal year 2020 State Homeland Security Program grant funds. So I'd like to bring that one to the floor. Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Molino. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of the motion? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Request to amend the county budget in the amount of $10,000 to reflect the receipt of 2020-2021 New York State Stop DWI Crackdown Enforcement Grant Funds. Someone like to make that motion? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor McDevitt. Any concerns, questions? Right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, who is opposed? Okay, Claudia. All right. All right, carried. Thank you. Referral from Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Railroad. Request to amend the county budget in the amount of $2,500 to reflect the receipt of a grant award to Up Yonder Farm from the Pearsall Adirondack Foundation. Someone like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion, John Stroud.
Thank you, Mr. Strauss, seconded by Supervisor Bramer. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Request items to be discussed by the county administrator. I will turn that over to you, Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Any questions on the journal report on transfers? It should be in the packet. If no questions on that, then Sheriff LaFar should be on this call to present this item. 8B. Terry, Sheriff, you there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. So this is the governor's, New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee. We normally receive this grant, and it's a $20,400 grant, and it's an agreement that runs. We work with other agencies, Glens Falls PD primarily, for step cars, which are traffic safety cars, Buckle, New York, Buckle Up, New York, those type of activities. Am I still there or no?
You're here.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we need a motion on that, Mr. Moore, or Mr. Simpson would like to make that motion. Is there a second to the motion, Mr. McDevitt? Any more questions for the sheriff? Supervisor Bramer.
Thank you. Hi, Terry. How many staff people or officers do you have implementing this grant program?
We have one person that implements that takes care of the scheduling for the grant program. So what happens is Sergeant Geisler will make a schedule, and he'll look at different dates when we're not looking at having a short of staff, and then he will fill in specific dates with a step car or another type of activity. So that there's if I'm not answering the question, there's that's open to all the patrols as far as the schedule goes.
Satisfactory answer, Ms. Bramer, or?
That is, so it's open to all the officers to participate. So the 20,000 is for the sergeant to do the scheduling.
The sergeant does the scheduling, he fills in the positions when they come out. Yes.
All right, any further discussion? All right, let's take a vote then. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. The next item from the sheriff's office,
Terry, this one is just to amend the budget to place that $20,400 into the budget.
Yes.
All right, would someone like to make that motion then? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Molino. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. And the last thing we have is we have to act on the following items that were approved by Personnel and Administration Committee. Agenda item number 6. Would someone like to bring that to the floor? Supervisor Simpson, seconded by someone? All right, Supervisor Conover. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I am still opposed to this.
Mr. McDevitt, you're opposed, and Ms. Brame is opposed. All right, make note of that then. Okay, do we have anything from Mr. Lehman? Mr. Lehman, do you have anything for us?
No, sorry, I was had a phone call, but we know we have nothing on YouTube right now.
That's okay. Thank you very much. With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Supervisor
I'll make
Molino,
a motion.
seconded by Supervisor Bramer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So will the